There is a high chance you have never seen this map in Dead by Daylight, and that's because this map was not made to be accessible to everyone. This is a developer exclusive map that was possibly created in order to test loops or test different powers. There is nothing like this currently in the game, but wouldn't it be cool if you could actually make your own maps in a map maker tool? In fact, I always thought that a map maker ability in DBD not only fits the game thematically, but it also would have been easier to create compared to the rest of the games in the market, and this is because of the way that the game was created from the start. If you take a look at the art book, you can see that even according to the lore, the way the maps are generated is by using a set of tiles that spawn different structures on the same map, and you can divide maps into tiles as well. They don't have to make any sense thematically, they just float in a void where the entity creates whatever it desires. This tile system is how the devs program the maps in order to be random, and it's why anytime you play on the same map, it can generate in a different way. Of course, there are some exceptions or maps that don't offer that much randomness, like Haddonfield, The Game, or RPD, but most of the vanilla maps are like that. The entire realm of Batham is a perfect example of how a map making tool could create a lot of variety in the same realm. Imagine giving players the opportunity to select a realm and create a new map by placing the tiles in a different way. In fact, this could also be very useful for competitive matches, because a map could be created that is specifically balanced for ranked play, or just to showcase something specific in a content creator's video. Nowadays, there is a lot of disparity between different map offerings. If you play the Coldwind offering, you might get Fractured Cowshed or you might get Rotten Fields. However, if you play the Eyrie of Crows offering, there is only one map to choose from, and I think this could have been fixed with a map maker tool in order to create different variations of newer realms. The community has already made custom maps for Dead by Daylight, one being the Red District and another one being the Fabrica, and both of those maps took way more effort to make than this map making tool proposal because they feature custom tiles and assets. Of course, this is now basically impossible to ask for. It's a very complicated system to develop so late in the game, and if they wanted to do that, then most likely they would have to create a Dead by Daylight 2, just like Counter-Strike is doing. This is why in today's video, I have decided to compile some of my biggest wishes that I would love to see in Dead by Daylight that I think we will never get to see. These are not simple changes like the Blood Web optimization or just balancing a character. Instead, these are more crazy suggestions that would completely change the way DBD is played. And fun fact, if I had made this video back when I started my channel, one of the suggestions that would be in this vid is bots in custom matches. And now, that's a reality, so maybe one of the suggestions in this video becomes a reality in the future. Now, another feature that I wish would be included in a DBD Part 2 is a working replay system that allows you to rewatch your previous matches and save your best ones in a library similar to how Fortnite does it. Watching your own replays is something that some of the community does in order to improve, as learning from your mistakes is some of the best ways to become better in the game, and a replay system would help a lot with this, so it would have a legit practical use. However, in order for this to become even better, a complete improvement of the Spectator system would greatly help with the experience of the game. Imagine hitting an amazing hunter shot, and to be able to later watch the trajectory of the hatchet just like a tomahawk in Call of Duty, or using this system in order to showcase matches in a more cinematic way. I believe I don't have to tell all the original ideas that can come up from the community if a mechanic like this became a reality. Some could even make entire movies by using this tool, which would bring back a lot of life to the game. Imagine a film of a survivor escaping the doctor in Larry's, or an old school western horror movie in Dead Dog Saloon. A free cam spectator mode can also be used to showcase the amazing skins that the game has, or the fantastic map art and details that the devs place all over the maps that most people don't ever see. A tool like this, in my opinion, would legit be game changing for the community. Of course, This is something that cannot be done in the game as stated by the devs in the past. A replay system would require the game to be built with this feature already considered from the start. However, what is possible is a free cam feature by itself, as this already exists in private matches with mods, and this is also a feature part of Unreal Engine developer tools. This would greatly help in order to make cinematic content for the game, and it would completely boost the content creation scene in YouTube or even Twitch. The only reason why this is not in the game yet is because the maps themselves are not built to be looked at with free cam as they currently are. One of the things I had wished for the most since the release of the game is earnable cosmetics with challenges. As it is now, the only cosmetics that work like that are prestigious, which are not special anymore due to how easy earning blood points is, and with the special events, which are only for a limited time. Funnily enough, the only ever grindable cosmetics we ever got were the Leatherface masks, but they were removed from the game. Now let's be completely real. Nobody buys the recolor cosmetics in the store with auric cells, and if you do, you're probably part of a very small percentage of rich gamers with disposable income. So what if instead of these cosmetics being part of the cosmetic store, these are rewards for achieving different milestones with your character of choice? For example, repairing 50 gens in total will award you this top with Dwight, or sacrificing 100 survivors will award you with this torso for Julie. Some new recolors could be given for challenges that are more expertly done than the common recolors, like by interacting with a power itself. For example, hitting 100 long shots with the Huntress could award you with a black recolor of the default mask, or hitting survivors with the bottles directly will give you a purple tint weapon for the clown. The point is to have a lot of unlockable cosmetics to promote players that are completionists to play every single character they can, and just have a secondary objective to play as. This single change would make DBD more worth playing in my opinion, as you could have simple recolors that are awarded for completing certain actions, more grindable stuff, and overall unlockable free content for everyone. Behavior could even implement an avatar system just like in DBD Mobile, along with borders or even banners that they could implement as part of achieving certain milestones. This way, you could showcase how much of a fan you are of your favorite characters. The only problems I see with this idea, and possibly the only reason why this is not a thing, is because of licensed content. How does a character like Michael Myers get unlockable cosmetics? And the more licenses that are added, the least likely this is a thing in the game. But a man can dream. Something that has zero excuse of not being implemented in the game is Cosmetic Powers. I have made an entire video of all ultra rare cosmetics and what I would do to make them special. Now, according to the devs themselves, Cosmetic Powers are not a reality because of two reasons. One is that the way killer powers are coded in the game, as far as I am aware, is very weird, and they would have to completely rewrite the entire code in order to accommodate for Cosmetic Powers. This is why Victor does not get any cosmetics either, because he is programmed as a power, and not an entity, so to speak. The second issue is related to gameplay balance, as a skin for Trapper could become pay to win if the trap becomes darker or fits a certain map better. These are legit concerns, as they are unfair, no matter what, and skins like these end up banned in other games like Counter-Strike or League of Legends. There is also a third potential reason as to why Cosmetic Powers are not a thing, and it's tied to game balance and to have each killer be able to be recognized easily by new players, so they are not confused as to who the killer is. But this rule is kinda broken with the pig, as you can have an outfit that makes her look like a survivor, which can confuse new players, and it's not even a ultra rare. So imagine a skin like Hunk or Birkin. Either way, even with the downsides for gameplay purposes, I still think Cosmetic Powers should have been a thing in the game, and if they cannot do it as a new section on the Cosmetics tab, at the very least, have it as a feature of ultra rare cosmetics. Raise your hand if you want cross progression to be a thing already. I can bet a lot of you do, myself included. As it stands now, it's unbearable to play on the Switch. Having to pay for every single chapter again in a different console is weird nowadays, especially when there is crossplay featured as part of the experience. The devs have promised that cross progression is coming to the game, but apparently there are some issues that are beyond their control that don't allow them to have this in the game yet. It's funny how in this video, full of outlandish wishes, cross progression is part of it. Sometimes, playing on console might be more comfortable than playing on PC, and I bet a lot of players that started in PC would like to move to console, and the same is applied to the reverse. Maybe someone who has played in console because they got the game for free now has a PC, but they cannot transfer their content and progress, so they can't move. This is one of the most healthy additions that the game can have for a very big casual player base, and honestly, let's wish that cross progression comes next year so we can finally play DBD on whatever platform we desire. By the way, I am referring to console and PC cross progression. There is cross progression in Dead by Daylight currently, but it's limited to Epic Games and Steam. Something that is severely needed in DBD, and I say this urgently and it's by far the thing that I want the most, is new game modes. And by this point I would accept anything, even a game mode where you have no perks, no turret radius and no HUD. Bringing game modes to the game would be a massive breath of fresh air that would bring a lot of players that are dissatisfied with the game back, and also bring a lot of new content that will eventually lead to even more players in DBD. Imagine a game mode where survivors also play in first person. This experience has already been created by Fubs, and I will link the video in the description so you can check it out. But DBD in first person would bring horror back to the game, at least temporarily. If a mod can do it, I bet the developers also can. There is also the 2-killer mode, or having more survivors, which is something that the game does support as hackers have proven countless of times. However, the interaction between things can be refined. The devs have said that this game mode would be a nightmare to balance, but I think this isn't a problem. The game should be chaotic and fun. There should be weird killer combinations like Legion and Oni, and the amount of memes that could be born with this is just way too much to pass this opportunity. And also, for the first time ever, killers would stop being loners and instead they could form new bonds over sacrificing those pesky survivors together. As it stands now, if you have friends, then you have to play Survivor if you want to play with friends in DBD. A game mode based on being the last standing could also be cool, where each survivor is by themselves and there are no generator objectives. The devs could even implement brand new mechanics if they wanted in order to spice up the game modes, or even let players create the game modes themselves, like having a mode of tag where once a killer hits someone, they become the killer and have to hit another survivor before the timer runs out. And like I said, they don't even need crazy stuff like this. Having a game mode where it forces you to use a certain build or a certain character in a map could also work as a fun game mode that would also promote the usage of low pick rate perks that could end up being fun, like a game mode that spawns a lot of lockers everywhere and survivors have head on and they have to stun the killer, who will be the dredge, or a mode where you have one hatchet in the chamber, and if you miss with the huntress, you cannot reload unless you hit someone. A game mode where Pyramid Head has infinite range on his attack, or another one where the objective of the match is to disarm all the bear traps that the trapper sets before the survivors spawn, and the killer loses if survivors find the majority of bear traps before the killer downs them. There are so many cool ideas they could do that it's just sad to think about what wasted opportunity this game has. And overall, these are my wishes for interesting things that Behavior could introduce in an alternate universe. I am really curious to know what are your wildest ideas for the game, so let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.